Yo, what's good YouTube? In today's video, I'm giving you guys my top 5 metal loadouts you guys need to be using. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like for the algorithm, subscribe with notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, so for our first gun here today, we're gonna be getting into the Holger 556. I feel like this is a very criminally underrated assault rifle that a lot of you guys need to be using because it is actually genuinely meta and really solid. So let me give you guys the best build for it. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hop into that muzzle category and we're gonna go throw on the VT7 Spearfire suppressor, keeping us off the radar, helping their overall recoil control, bullet velocity, and damage range, giving us a nice little 5, and 8% increase overall to our range, making us more effective at distance, and of course helping with our overall recoil control at a nice 7% for our horizontal and vertical. Only minorly slows you down, but we're not too worried about that. We're just trying to stay off the radar and get some nice recoil control here with this attachment. After that, in the barrel section, we're gonna go up in here, we're gonna throw on the Kraus 6 match barrel, giving us increase to our bullet velocity and range, recoil control, and of course gun kit control. This is the best barrel in here by far, and you guys should always run this specific barrel, giving us a nice 20, and 10% increase, along with a 4, 7, and 7% increase to our overall recoil control, making this thing very easy to be able to use. You really honestly don't even have to run an underbarrel. That's precisely why we're going to be skipping it here and going straight on down to the magazine. So now we're gonna go throw on, of course, the biggest magazine in here, which unfortunately is one of the drawbacks to this gun, is that the 40 round mag is the biggest mag we have. I'd prefer there to be like a 50 or a 60 round mag, but overall 40 will do us, you know, just fine, just because this is not a crazy high fire rate gun. It's not like the M13B, for instance, which has a much higher fire rate. This has a bit of a slower one, so you're totally taken care of. Now in the optics section, we're gonna throw on one of my favorite optics in here because I believe it's basically the best and almost realistically one of the only options for this gun. That's that JAK glassless. This is a perfect optic for so many different situations, guns, builds, whatever it may be. You're gonna be putting this on or trying to outfit it to. The JAK glassless just works so well. So I highly recommend you guys exclusively use the JAK glassless on this gun. And you might be able to get away with like the Koryo Eagle Eye 2.5x. But otherwise, I'd say just to kind of stick with this. Overall, now for our last attachment, we have the RB Adel Assault Stock, which is actually going to do wonders for our overall recoil control here, giving us a 9, 14, and 14% increase, only minorly slowing us down. And this is even more effective than using something like a Bruin Heavy support grip. So I definitely recommend for you guys to run this over a Bruin Heavy. I've tried it, you know, both ways, tested it out plenty, and definitely this is the way to go. So this is my full build here for the Holger 556. And of course, go ahead and get that screenshot if you guys want to use this for yourselves. Next up, I'm going to be giving you guys a top tier meta Kar 98K loadout. There's a few of them out there. There's a variety of ways to run it, but I'm gonna give you guys the one that's got the most possible damage range on it. It's also just gonna be very good in general. It is like your #1 setup. So let's get into it. First thing we're gonna go into is the muzzle, and we're gonna go throw on this suppressor down here, the Sonic Suppressor L, which actually keeps us off the radar, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's a suppressor, duh, so it does that. It also helps our bullet velocity and damage range, only at the cost of some of our overall mobility. So it's not gonna be the absolute quickest build here for the Kar 98. It will give you the most amount of damage range and effective damage range, minimum bullet velocity, so on and so forth. And basically just explain this out here real quick. See that top number, your effective damage range, it says 66.7 meters. This is what you're looking for to determine the overall one-shot headshot distance this gun has. So right now it has almost 70 meters of one-shot headshot kill potential, but apart from that, like out farther than that, it will not do that. So we're going to extend that out as much as possible. At that barrel section, we go on here and throw on the 7.62 long barrel. I completely avoid whatever this German name is here for this. I've had people tell me this a couple times in the comment section what it is. I cannot remember what the translation is for the life of me, but the 7.62 long barrel is the only barrel to run on this gun. It's the only one that makes sense, and this pushes us out to 74.7 meters here. Nice 12% increase to our minimum and 15% on our overall bullet velocity, getting us out to about 857 meters per second. Really cool, but we're still going to extend that out farther here with our next attachment. That's going to be in the ammunition side of things, and we're going to go down here and throw on the 7.92 high grain rounds. This is really solid, and this will give us the maximum possible, you know, output of this gun for our longest one-shot headshot kill potential distance at 86 meters. Essentially, it's 85.9, but 86 meters here. This gives us a 15, 15, and 15% increase, and this boosts us out to almost 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity, which is fantastic, super mega awesome. So we definitely want to have that on there. After that, you can kind of do whichever you want with it, but we're gonna go on here. We're gonna throw on the SL Razorhawk laser light. This is a great attachment. These last two ones, you kind of have, you know, more ability to do whatever you want with on the Kar 98, but this is my preference here, what I'm going to be using. So we have the SL Razor Hop. This kind of speeds us up, stabilizes us out. Overall fantastic, and I recommend for you guys to use this. And lastly, in the optics section, this is where you can choose between two specific optics, and we're gonna have to scroll all the way down to the other end. I'm just hitting left on the D-pad there. We're gonna go all the way down. So we have two options in here. First being the SPX 80, which is the overall standard tried and true 6.6 times magnification optic, which has a nice little 11 times zoom. This is a really nice optic, and personally, I'm actually not that big of a fan of it, unless, I don't know, for whatever reason, I personally don't like it. What I like to go with is actually this range collar V3.4. This is a 7 times magnification, and in the 7 times magnification, this is the exact identical reticle to the OG Kar 98K from Warzone 1. So I actually really enjoy it significantly more so than the SPX, and I find I hit so many more of my shots using this. Don't know what, it's not like a crazy difference, 6.6 to 7 times, but I like the scope, the reticle makes me feel more accurate. So personal preference at the end of the day for the scope. It's not going to make or break the build. Use something kind of stupid, it might make or break the build, but SPX or the range collar, my preference is the range collar. So I'm gonna throw this on here, and this is going to be your max distance Kar 98K. And of course, go ahead and get that screenshot. This is the best build. Next up, we're going to be getting into the top build here for the striker. This is kind of, in my opinion, like the WSP9 or the Uzi, which is a very hard hitting but not a super fast fire rate gun, and it's really good, and a lot of people kind of be sleeping on this thing. So let's jump into the ideal build here to run on this as a true SMG. First thing in the muzzle is going to be that Zeman 35. This is really solid, kind of shortens our overall radar ping, helps our vertical recoil and our horizontal recoil control, along with our aiming firing stability. This really stabilizes the gun out. We don't have to do too much else otherwise to stabilize the gun out apart from just this attachment. We can focus on speeding it up and making it more effective at range here with our other attachments. Now we're gonna go on down here to the underbarrel section. We're gonna go throw on the DR6 hand stop. This is gonna give us a crazy boost to our aim down sight speed and walking speed, sprint to fire speed, and of course movement speed. This is really great. You guys could definitely switch this out between the XRK Edge and the DR6. Not going to make a huge crazy difference on like a lot of the attributes, but just pull up your detailed statistics. Take a look for yourself. Do you want more ADS movement speed? Do you want more ADS speed, sprint to fire, so on and so forth? The XRK Edge is going to give you a little bit more of that ADS movement speed versus the DR6 will help a little bit more near sprint to fire. So personal preference here, not going to make or break the build. Ammunition side of things, we're going to go throw on the .45 auto high grain rounds. This boosts us out to that 14.6 meters, which is at the very top end of most SMG's effective damage range. So you're at the very top end right there, which is really solid. If you guys, for instance, wanted to not run this and go throw on the long barrel on it, then you boost yourself out to about 17 meters, which is why this thing can be a nice sniper support gun. But overall, if we're trying to use this as regular SMG that's going to have good mobility, this is actually going to be really solid right here. So we're going to throw on the auto high grains. Now down to the magazine, we have the option between the 60 and the 48. Unfortunately, this is not like the FJX Horus where you get 0 penalty between the 48 and the 60 round drum. It's kind of wild, there is no difference, so you'd be a fool not to run the 60. But on this, you definitely have to go for the 48. It's going to slow you down a little bit too much to run that 60 and overall 48 because this is not a very fast firing SMG. It's going to work out very nicely, so you guys should go for that. Now for our last attachment here, we're going to go on and throw on the Lachmann MK2 light stock. This is great for your overall movement speed and sprint speed. It's not going to be a crazy massive increase, but it's going to make you feel a little bit more mobile. If you guys want to do kind of what I like to do, which is make my SMGs super mobile, I go ahead and throw on that no stock attachment and just kind of see how the recoil is for you. For me, it's perfectly manageable, very easy to use, but I know some other people out there aren't as good as me with recoil control, which is pretty evident by some of my comments on other platforms. So if you want to go for, you know, something that's a little bit faster, no stock. Otherwise, the MK2 is going to be a great option, and you guys will be taken care of either way. So this is my full build right here. Of course, go ahead and get that screenshot, and now let's move on to our next gun. Next up, we're getting in here to the Lachmann Shroud. This is an incredible SMG when you have provided the right attachments on it. Otherwise, it is straight garbage. So we're going to show you guys how to not make this thing garbage, and that first thing that starts with is going down here to this beautiful thing called the conversion kit. If you do not have the conversion kit, go ahead and get it unlocked. Otherwise, the Lachmann Shroud is completely worthless, and it is a bottom tier gun. So we're on the Jag Decimator. Now we can actually get into the build. First thing in here is going to be that magazine. We're going to go throw on the 40 round mag. You guys don't need that 50. The 50 is going to slow you down a lot. I mean, your reload quickness goes from 12% to 24%. Like, it is a pretty sizable decrease in your overall movement capabilities and your overall mobility here with that 50 round versus the 40 round. I go for the 40 round. It's been working for me. And of course, I'm running sleight of hand. So that works out very, very nicely, which I'd recommend if you guys run sleight of hand majority of the time as well. Next up, ammunition. We're gonna go through on the sub HP rounds. The only reason we're using an ammunition type here on this gun, I mean, it's not like it has the high grain rounds or something like that. It's because we have so many other attachments that are blocked off. We kind of have to use something, and we're not trying to screw this gun up, and it's got great iron sight, so we do not need an optic. So we're gonna go throw these on here. So if you find something else in your, specific build here that you want to swap out, maybe for instance an optic, then you can take these off and not feel like you're losing out on something. But for all of us that are going to be using iron sights, you should be using this exclusively. Counter barrel section, we go throw on the XRK Edge. This is really solid on this gun. I enjoy the overall strafe movement capabilities I get with the XRK Edge on this gun. Feels phenomenal, so I'd recommend for you guys to go for this. But like I've said previously, the XRK Edge to the DR6 not going to make that big of a difference. So just test it out for yourselves. Go to the firing range, shoot at some dummies, kind of straight back and forth, see what works for you. But overall, the XRK Edge is what I was running, so that's why I'm recommending it to you guys. And I'm dropping, crazy 30 and 40 kill gameplays with this thing. For our last attachment, we're not going to go to the barrel section and go straight to the laser. We're going to go throw in the Kimura RYL33 laser light. It's kind of a handful, tongueful, mouthful to be able to say, but this is going to speed us up tremendously, and I really enjoy that. So you guys should go ahead and run this on there. There is a couple other builds. I've ran the no stock on this, but that's got quite a bit of recoil, and I know a lot of you guys out there are not going to want to be able to manage that, or not going to be able to manage that. I only just did it for a singular video, so you can check that out on the channel if you want to, but this is the overall best setup to run on the Lachmann Shroud. And of course, go ahead and get your screenshot if you guys want to right now. Last but definitely not least, we're going to be going over a Superi 46 build that's almost a little bit too fast. We're in a very SMG dominant era of Warzone right now, so that's why there's more SMGs in the top 5. There's not as many great long range options, so you're using an SMG and a Kar 98K or some other conversion kit and a Kar 98K. There's not too many ARs, LMGs kind of running rampant, running wild. So let's get you guys a good build here for the Superi. This thing is going to be nuts. Trust me on this one. So Zeman 35, pretty standard. We're going to run this as our first attachment just to stabilize it out. And that is the extent of stabilization you need for the Superi 46. This singular attachment right here is all you need. Barrel section to go throw on the Zulu OP3 light barrel. This is going to give us a crazy boost to our crouch movement speed and our aim walking speed. Not too much of a care for the crouch movement, but the aim walking is realistically what we do care about, getting us a nice 14% increase, which just is going to make this thing super, super fast. And we are still going to keep speeding it up. So you almost, I'm not going to lie to you guys, will be able to strafe ADS faster than you will be able to just normally run, by running, pushing your stick forward. It is slightly ridiculous. Underbarrel section, throw on the XRK Edge, though this is something I personally prefer to run the DR6 on. So I guess I'll recommend if you guys run the DR6, but if you're trying to go like true movement, like ADS movement speed, I mean, it's very minor right here, technically speaking, at 5% and a 7%. It's 4.4 meters per second to 4.3. Not going to make a big difference, and you're going to ADS a little bit faster here with the DR6. So by paying attention to the detailed stats, you can go for either or. Not going to make a difference. Down here to the magazine, we're gonna go throw on the 40 round mag. Pretty standard, pretty simple. You can't ever run the Superi without the bigger magazine, so you go throw that on there. And lastly, in the stock section, we're gonna be running the Jack Cutthroat stock, which is ridiculous. So you can run this and get crazy aim locking speed steadiness, and of course movement speed. So we get a nice 14% increase, 6 and 4% increase overall. You're gonna be seriously flying around the map. It is kind of insane. I was caught off guard about how much strafe ability you get, and frankly, it's almost maybe too much strafe ability that you won't be able to hit your shot. So kind of be aware and utilize that aim assist. If you don't want to run the Jack Cutthroat, throw in something like the Rescue 9 and you'll be good to go, and it'll feel a lot more manageable and a lot less, strafe happy crazy. So between the Rescue 9, Jack Cutthroat, you're good to go. So this is my full build right here. And of course, get that screenshot if you guys want to go ahead and do so. But this has been my top 5. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a like for the algorithm, subscribe as notifications turned on, and I'll see you all next time.